We are live. Welcome to Com Nation.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. For those of you who have been here before,
welcome back. Thanks for coming around again.
Exactly. For those of you who are looking for a slickly produced professional trivia experience,
this is not the show you want to see.
Exactly. But we just do this to have fun. If you want to have fun, hopefully you have fun. If you don't have fun, let us know. If you do have fun, or you like bad jokes, or you like comic books, or you don't know a lot about comic books, but maybe you like comic book movies, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the follow. Come along with us.
Tweet the bird. Don't give us the bird.
Exactly. And tonight, hopefully you know what we're talking about, but tonight,
or evil lurks.
It's the shadow.
He was consumed by evil.
For as long as you can remember, you've struggled against your own black heart.
Shoot through him.
Every man pays a price for redemption.
I'm not looking for redemption.
You have no choice. But I will teach you to use your black shadow to fight evil.
He became the shadow.
I didn't see anything. I swear.
Dump him.
Who's there?
Did you think you'd get away with it? Did you think I would know? Now, when the world is in danger, report.
Police investigation of murder. Agent advises inquiry.
Who knows what powers stir in the night?
Whatever you did, it's in the past.
Join me. Inside you beats a heart of darkness. I do what I do to fight back the evil inside me, but some part of it is still there, waiting.
Genghis Khan conquered half of the world in his lifetime. I intend to finish the job.
And when the adventure begins,
activate the bomb.
Who knows where it will end? Alec Baldwin, John Lone, Penelope Ann Miller, and Tim Curry. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow.
So, the shadow knows what lurks in the hearts of men. The clip we just showed was from the Shadow movie, which was released in 1994. If you want to watch it, shoutfactory.com is the ones who have, I think, the DVD, the Blu-ray, etc. I'm not aware of it being anywhere streaming, but it was directed by... Yeah. It shows up occasionally. It was directed by Russell Mulcahy and starred Alec Baldwin, Penelope Ann Miller, Ian McKellen, who was not in that trailer. But the Shadow, he's been everywhere. He's been everywhere. He's done everything. You know the Shadow, but you might not know that there was a graphic novel, and a pretty good graphic novel. That's what we're talking about tonight. If you're playing the trivia, and I hope you're playing the trivia, go to crowd.live/ZQDMB. I'm sorry, ZQDMW. And hey, if you're watching this on replay, next time you should be here live. It's way more fun to play around. And hey, a lot of times I give the rules, but come on, you can figure it out. Get it right, get it fast. It's multiple choice. Take a guess. If you think it's wrong, it's multiple choice. Choose the one that's best.
Yes. Who knows?
All right. Who knows what answer lurks in the heart of our trivia? Well, Todd probably does. All right. We ready to start?
Yes. Dun, 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 dun.
When did the shadow first appear? It's been around for a darn long time.
Very long time. Looks good
But
for
it
his age.
first appeared in July of 1930. The Shadow was the mysterious narrator of the radio program Detective Story Hour.
Yes.
The Shadow became so popular that folks started making,
Inquiries. They
putting
wanted to read the
stories
magazine.
about him in
Yeah.
Detective Story magazine. Because people
Originally,
wanted to know
he was-
more about that Shadow character.
Originally, he was just like the Rod Serling of his time. Showed up, introduced the
Exactly.
mystery, and left. But
All
they were
right.
popular.
Now we know the Shadow.
Mhm.
What were his superpowers? Hypnosis. So, he had the ability to cloud men's minds. It's not an uncommon thing. If you've ever watched, there's a bunch of folks out there that talk about it. But basically it's not a full shadow, but like a lot of the times with the mentalist and that kind of thing, you've seen that. You've seen that they sort of can do a little bit of a little bit of hypnosis, a little bit power of suggestion. Etc. He seemed to have a heightened ability to do this. He was highly charismatic, etc. Also, he was the Shadow, skilled in disguises, skilled in languages, skilled in codes, and a very skilled, skilled fighter, etc. Because that's what you do.
Indeed.
Now, he had a little help to focus his power. And what was that? What was that, Todd?
That was the one ring that binds them all. No, sorry.
No, I know. I was going to put that in. The Girasol ring. Girasol. I have no idea.
Yes.
Now, Girasol, it's
a special stone. It's normally actually a pink quartz kind of thing.
Yeah.
But Shadows was unique.
Yep. And according to continuity, the ring was a gift from the Tsar of Russia, whom the Shadow had befriended. Maybe gotten off of a mad monk. You never know.
Yeah.
But it had some special powers, and that helped.
Yes.
But again, we know the Shadow. We've seen some pictures of him. The Shadow wears this long black cloak, which was, inspired by an homage to who? Bela Lugosi. Okay, now, Todd, what for no additional points? What movie was Bela Lugosi running around in that black cape in?
Dracula, which came out in 1931. I actually played him on stage before that, so was the question whether you saw him in the movie or actually saw him on Broadway.
Exactly. So we all know now we are so familiar with not only superheroes running around in cape, but vampires running around in capes. But Bela Lugosi was the innovator. He was the starter of taking that cape and using it for dramatic effect, throwing it over and being able to do whatnot, but the cape, Bela Lugosi and the cape. Yes. Every superhero who has a cape, basically they're mimicking the Shadow, and the Shadow was mimicking Bela Lugosi.
The only one that counts.
The Shadow went away and honed his abilities in the city of
Sweet Haven?
Shambhala.
Oh, no.
Now, if you've heard of Shambhala before, good. Shambhala is a mythic city, or at least we've never found it just far, but Shambhala was not created to be part of Shadow mythology. Shambhala is a mythical place in Buddhist mythology. We think it exists somewhere. We just haven't found it yet.
And those monks, they've got that vow of silence, so they're not talking.
Of course, the Shadow found it. The Shadow knows. You need some instructions on how to get to where you're going. The Shadow knows.
Yes. You have to find him.
Now, in year 1, who is the Shadow's primary adversary? And that would be
Gerhard Zorn.
That would be, yes, Dr. Gerhard Zorn. With my luck, he's a dentist. Now, for no additional points, do you remember what his code name was in the book, Dr. Zorn?
He's the Snow Tiger.
Yes. So
at
the same time, yeah, well, hence the adversary,
Yeah. He's truly
not a good thing. Kind of, there was not a nice fella. Do you want to know how not a nice fella he was? I'll tell you how not a nice fella. In the book, Dr. Zorn killed some people. Who'd he kill?
A whole mess of people.
Okay, he did not kill the Bene Gesserit.
Nope.
He killed the Council of Tulkus. Tulkuts. Now, again, the Shadow picks a lot of stuff up from Buddhist mythology, the Buddhist belief. A Tulku is an actual, which is an actual thing in the Tibetan Buddhism religion. It is not uncommon, or it is not unheard of, that there would be a council of Tulkus somewhere. The Tulkus are the reincarnated custodian of a specific lineage of teachings. So the fact that Dr. Zorn went and killed, that's not a good thing. He's not a good guy. Why did he teach this? But while Dr. Zorn is the primary enemy, the primary adversary in
Shadow Year
1, he is not the Shadow's arch enemy, overarching nemesis. Who is that?
And that would be Shaka Khan. No.
I feel for you, but it's not Shaka Khan.
It's not? Okay.
It's Shiwa Khan.
Right.
Who is apparently the last living descendant of Genghis Khan.
We're out to conquer the world.
So Shiwa Khan, again, appears a little bit later in the book, I believe. It definitely was in the movie. And, and for no additional points, Todd, who created Shiwa Khan?
Oh.
Walter Gibson. Yeah. Took the Shadows out. Exactly.
Yes.
So, but the Shadow, he's got some friends too. He doesn't have just arch enemies.
Yep. He's got some allies.
Who is the Shadow's companion?
Shadow the Ace-Hound? No, sorry.
Margot Lane. Now, again, the Shadow started as a radio program, radio narrator, that became, that was so popular and had so much personality, people wanted stories. That led to the magazines, that led to comic strips, that led to the graphic novels such as this one, but started on the radio. So, Todd, for no additional points, who was the first actress who voiced Margot Lane?
That'd be Agnes Moorehead, who most people know as Samantha from Bewitched's mother, or poor Dagwood's ever torturing mother-in-law.
Exactly.
Yes.
So Margot, depending on who is writing the book, etc., sometimes she is, well, like a Robin to the Shadows Batman. Sometimes she's an Alfred to the Shadows Batman. But she almost always, and Todd, correct me if I'm wrong, Margot almost always, she knows his secret. She's got his back. She is not just someone he's dating. She is his partner.
Yeah.
In every sense of the word, which is why I like the book.
Because she's one of the people she can't necessarily cloud her mind. She's got a little bit of psychic savvy herself.
There you go. Now, in addition to that hypnosis, the Shadow is known for his sinister. It's not his sinister snoring. That's Todd. It's the sinister laugh.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff that the Shadow, more than some of the other characters you will run into, just really relies on psychic warfare. He's got some ability, absolutely, but he also understands the theatricality of what he's doing. He understands that, like, it's easier to terrify someone, and once you've got them terrified, maybe they're a little bit more willing to do your will. Once you've sort of completely freaked them out. Sort of similar to how Batman. Yeah. Batman always sort of justified the fact of having the signal because everyone, having the symbol in the middle of his chest because everybody would aim for it, and just having the mythos of what it meant to be the Batman. Batman owes a lot to the Shadow, just saying. Now, it will not surprise you to learn that the Shadow was in the World War I.
Right.
What was his code name? It wasn't White Wolf. Todd, for no additional points, who was White Wolf?
And that would be the new code name for Bucky, aka the Winter Soldier.
Exactly.
The people of Wakanda call him.
Yeah. Now, World War I was supposed to be the war to end all wars. It was not. It was horrible. It forever changed the world. World War I was the first time that machine guns were used in battle. World War I was the first time that poison gas was used in battle. And World War I was the first time that people that veterans came back with essentially post-traumatic stress, although at the time they just called it shell shock. It was a horrible war on a very innocent people. And the Shadow was trained during the war to do much, much horrible things. And then he was left on his own. And what did he do? He decided to fight crime.
Take all those skills he'd learned and see if he could do some good with them.
Now, at the beginning of Shadow Year 1, what has just happened?
The Great Leslie's run the Great Race. No.
I know.
Evil Dr. Fate.
Black Tuesday, also known as the Great Crash. Yes. So that happened on October 29th, 1929. The share prices on the stock exchange completely collapsed. Completely. And because we did not have the same protections then that we do now sparked the Great Depression.
Yes. Lots and lots of people lost their whole savings, businesses. It was not pretty.
Yeah. 16 million shares were okay in 1930, y'all. 16 million shares were traded in the panic sell-off. And I think it's like $30 billion of value was lost in 2 days in 1930. This was not a good day. And this is when he shows up in New York saying, hey, what could possibly go wrong?
Well, since you asked.
Now, in the Shadow year 1, what does the Shadow fly? Because, he does.
It does. It's not the Rocketeer's jetpack. That's
I know. I'm just telling you, if, my birthday's a few months off, if y'all want to get together and buy me an autogyro, that's okay. I will take one. An autogyro, if you don't know, you should go look it up. But if you ever saw the movie It Happened One Night, and that vehicle that they flew in that's it. Mm-hmm. Daddy Warbucks had an autogyro. Howard Hughes had one in The Rocketeer. I don't remember if it was in the movie, but I know it was in the comic. But you'll probably know it. There you go. But you'll know it because Batman, who did we mention Batman owes a lot to the Shadow? Batman had a bat gyro. And the most recent time I can remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know that John Byrne put an autogyro in Generations because they're cool. Birthday's coming up. You can buy me one. It would be okay. I'd give you a ride.
Mm-hmm.
Or flowers, autogyro, either one will work. Now, in year 1, what's the name of the Shadow's biographer?
It's not Lamont Cranston.
Yep.
It's the name of the Shadow.
So Todd, explain the name. It's Maxwell Grant in the story, but who is Lamont Cranston? Who's Kent Ellard? Who's Lester Dent?
So Lester Dent is actually one of the other main authors with Street and Smith Publishing, who wrote some Shadow stories, and then went off and wrote another major pulp hero, Doc Savage. And then the whole thing with Kent Howard and Lamont Cranston is that Kent Howard's the guy who probably is actually really running around as the Shadow, maybe. And Lamont Cranston might be the rich playboy that's sort of kind of back at him and just kind of stays out of the way. Or maybe Lamont Cranston's the Shadow. But either way, Maxwell Grant's the guy who kind of shows up and tries to interview Lamont Cranston and gets sucked into the adventure and decides to chronicle the Shadow's adventures, the Shadow stories for future generations. Hence the reason we have this great tome about his early days. Yeah.
Gets a little confusing, doesn't it? But there you go. But I really have to say, there's been several people have taken the name of the Shadow. I have taken the Shadow, and Dynamite does a really nice job, which Matt Wagner does a really nice job making it work.
Mm-hmm.
So now, according to the Shadow, what bears bitter fruit?
Pomegranates.
Probably true. So here's the thing. Everybody knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men. The Shadow knows. Everybody.
Right.
But That was the
You
intro
have all the
line.
radio shows. Yeah, that's how it started.
Okay. But at the end of every episode, there would be the weed of crime bears bitter fruit.
Mhm.
Right? And then
Right.
and then came the next line that also everybody knew, which is
Shadow.
crime doesn't pay. Crime doesn't pay. While it may not have originated with the Shadow, crime doesn't pay as a line was made famous by the Shadow.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, just to be us, the early episodes had as their exit line, "As you sow evil, so shall you reap evil," but still had crime doesn't pay. The Shadow knows.
Mhm.
Now, again, tonight we were talking about the Shadow year 1 and here's the blurb. The Shadow has enjoyed nearly a century of enduring popularity as the first and greatest hero of the golden age of pulp magazines. Here, for the first time, is unveiled the origin story of how the Master of Men returned to America following his many adventures abroad in the aftermath of World War I. How did Lamont Cranston launch his legendary crusade against crime, assemble his vast network of covert operatives, and meet his lover and companion Margot Lane? A treat for longtime Shadow fans, absolutely true, and perfect introduction to the character for a whole new generation of readers. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow. Yes. So, it was written by Matt Wagner.
Mhm. He's done all sorts of great stuff, including another take on the Green Hornet, his own characters, Grendel and Beowulf, Stimson, Batman, Sandman, a lot of other good pulp heroes.
Grendel, yeah.
Yep.
And it was the illustrations were done by Wilfredo Torres.
Yes.
So who's best known, I think, for this and some Batman work. I don't know what else he's done.
He's done some of the other pulpy stuff for Dynamite as well. But yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a good sense of light and shadow.
And tonight, Harold, you're the winner. Good job.
Nice job, Harold. We'll give you a high five. Obviously, you know.
You get a big no prize.
Thanks
for coming in. Again, we hope you had fun. We hope you learned something. Yes. If you didn't, let us know. If you did, if you did, please hit like, subscribe, follow, etc.
We're obviously clouding Ruth's mind here, or at least the tongue.
It's the ring. It's the ring. But we're going to continue to do this as long as you keep coming back. If there's a book you want us to do, let us know. If there's something you're curious about, let us know. If there's something we could do better, let us know. If you like our bad jokes,
by all means, let us know.
And above all,
read more comics.
Read more comics. All right. See you next week.
Good night, all.
Bye.
The Shadow knows.